Before we begin, I need to ask you something. Have you ever trusted someone completely, only to discover they were stabbing you in the back the entire time? If you have, this story will resonate with you. And if you haven't, let this be a warning. Stay until the very end, because the trap I set for my daughter-in-law, it was absolutely perfect, and she never saw it coming. I was standing in my kitchen making tea when I heard the key turn in my front door. It was Jeffrey, my son, and his wife Anna. They let themselves in, something that used to make me feel loved, like I was part of their lives. That day, it would make me feel violated. "Mom," Jeffrey called out. "In the kitchen, honey." They walked in, and I immediately knew something was wrong. Jeffrey wouldn't meet my eyes. Anna had this tight smile on her face, the one she wore when she was pretending to care. "Sit down, Mary," Anna said, gesturing to my own kitchen chair like this was her house, not mine. I sat, my heart already racing. "Mom," Jeffrey started, his voice strained. "We need to talk about Dad's life insurance money." My husband John had died 6 months earlier. Sudden heart attack. He was only 67. We'd been married for 42 years. His death had shattered me into a million pieces, and I was still trying to put myself back together. The life insurance policy, $500,000, was sitting in our joint account. I hadn't touched it. Couldn't bring myself to. It felt like the last piece of John I had left. "What about it?" I asked carefully. Anna leaned forward, her perfectly manicured hands folded on my kitchen table. "Mary, Jeffrey and I have been talking, and we think it would be best if that money was moved into a trust. For the family, for the grandchildren's future." I didn't have grandchildren. Jeffrey and Anna had been married for 5 years and kept saying they were waiting for the right time. "A trust?" I repeated. "Yes," she continued smoothly. "You're not getting any younger, and let's be honest, you've never been good with money. John handled all the finances, didn't he? We're worried that you might make poor decisions, or worse, that someone might take advantage of you." The condescension in her voice made my chest tight. "Anna, that's my money. John left it to me." "Actually," she pulled out a folder, "we've consulted with a lawyer. Since Jeffrey is the only child and direct heir, he has legal standing to contest the distribution of assets, especially if we can prove that you're not mentally capable of managing such a large sum of money." My blood ran cold. Mentally capable? What are you talking about? Jeffrey finally spoke, his voice barely a whisper. "Mom, you've been really out of it since Dad died, forgetting things, getting confused. We're just worried about you." "I'm grieving," I said, my voice rising. "That's not the same as being incompetent." "Of course not," Anna said, in that patronizing tone. "But grief can cloud judgment. We just want to protect you and protect the money. Think of it as us taking care of you the way you took care of Jeffrey all those years." I looked at my son, really looked at him, and I saw something that broke my heart more than John's death. Weakness. He couldn't even look at me. "Jeffrey," I said quietly, "is this what you want?" He opened his mouth, glanced at Anna, then nodded. "It's for the best, Mom." "I need you to leave," I said, standing up. "Both of you. Now." "Mary, let's not be dramatic," Anna started. Get out of my house." They left, and I collapsed into my chair and cried harder than I'd cried since the funeral. But somewhere beneath the tears, something else was growing. Rage.
Let me tell you about Anna. When Jeffrey first brought her home 7 years ago, I was thrilled. My son, who'd had his heart broken more than once, had finally found someone. Anna was beautiful, charming, educated. She worked in marketing, came from a good family, and seemed to adore Jeffrey. "She's the one, Mom," he told me that first Christmas. "I'm going to marry her." And I was so happy for him. At their wedding, Anna gave a speech about how grateful she was to join our family, how she'd always wanted a mother-in-law she could be close to. I cried happy tears. For the first few years, everything seemed perfect. Anna was attentive, thoughtful. She'd call me just to chat, invite me to lunch, send me birthday cards with sweet messages. But looking back now, I could see the cracks I'd ignored. The way she'd roll her eyes when John talked about his childhood, the comments she'd make about our old-fashioned house, the subtle ways she'd redirect conversations to be about her career, her plans, and the way she spoke about money. Always money. When Jeffrey gets his inheritance, once we have access to the family money, your house must be worth quite a bit now. I'd brushed it off as normal young couple talk, planning for the future. But after John died, things changed. Anna started coming around more often, but only to help me organize John's things. She'd ask questions about our finances, about the life insurance, about the house deed, about investment accounts. "Just trying to help you get everything in order, Mary," she'd say with that smile. And I'd let her, because I was drowning in grief and couldn't think straight. Now I realized she'd been taking inventory. 2 days after they'd left my house, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Mrs. Patterson? This is Amanda Chen from First National Bank. I'm calling about some unusual activity on your joint account with John Patterson." My heart stopped. What kind of activity? Someone attempted to add a secondary account holder this morning, a Jeffrey Patterson. The request was denied because we require in-person verification for accounts of this size, but I wanted to alert you immediately. "I didn't authorize that." "I understand, ma'am. I'm flagging your account for additional security. I'd recommend you come in as soon as possible to review your access permissions." I was at the bank within the hour. Amanda, a kind woman in her 40s, pulled up my account. "Mrs. Patterson, I need to show you something." She turned her screen toward me. Over the past 3 months, there had been multiple attempts to access information about the account, failed login attempts, requests for statements, even an attempt to get a duplicate debit card sent to a different address. Jeffrey and Anna's address. "This is fraud," she said seriously, "or attempted fraud at the very least. Do you want to file a police report?" I sat there staring at the screen, feeling like I might be sick. My son, my own son, was trying to steal from me. Or, more accurately, his wife was, and he was helping her. "Not yet," I said quietly. "But I need to protect this account. What can I do?" Amanda walked me through everything. New passwords, new security questions, removal of Jeffrey's emergency contact status, a complete lockdown. "I'm also going to recommend you speak with our estate attorney. If someone is trying to access your funds, you need legal protection." She handed me a card. Robert Chen, no relation, she assured me, a lawyer who specialized in estate protection and elder financial abuse. Elder abuse. That's what this was.
I took the card and called him from the parking lot.
Robert Shen's office was in a modest building downtown. He was in his 50s, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. "Tell me everything," he said. So I did. The life insurance, Anna's suggestion about the trust, Jeffrey's betrayal, the attempted account access. Robert listened without interrupting, taking notes. When he finished, he leaned back in his chair. "Mrs. Patterson, I'm going to be direct with you. What your daughter-in-law is doing is called undue influence. She's manipulating your son to gain access to assets that legally belong to you. The attempted unauthorized account access is fraud, and if they're claiming you're mentally incompetent to justify taking control of your money, that's elder financial abuse. Can they succeed? Can they actually take my money? Not easily. You're clearly competent. You came here on your own. You recognize the manipulation. You're taking action. But they can make your life very difficult. They can contest things, file motions, drag you through court. It would be expensive and exhausting. So what do I do?" He smiled. Not a happy smile. A strategic one. "We set a trap." Robert laid it out for me like a chess game. "First, we protect your assets immediately. We'll create an irrevocable trust, with you as the trustee and beneficiary during your lifetime. This removes the money from easy access and makes it much harder for anyone to contest or claim incompetence." Okay. "Second, we document everything. Every conversation, every attempt to access your accounts, every manipulative statement. We build a case." "A case for what?" "Criminal charges if necessary, but more likely we use it as leverage, to expose them, to protect you permanently." "How?" "We give them exactly what they think they want. We let them think they're winning." Over the next week, Robert and I crafted the perfect trap. I would call Jeffrey, tell him I'd been thinking about what Anna said, and that maybe she was right. Maybe I wasn't capable of handling the money. Maybe a trust was a good idea. But, and this was the key, I'd insist on being involved in setting it up. I'd want my own lawyer present. I'd want everything in writing. "They'll jump at it," he predicted. "They think you're weak. They think you're confused. They'll think they've won. And then we spring the trap at the meeting." I practiced what I'd say a dozen times. My hands shook as I dialed Jeffrey's number. "Mom?" He sounded surprised. "Hi, honey. I've been thinking about what you and Anna said about the trust." Silence. Then eagerly, "Yeah? I think maybe you're right. I have been confused lately, forgetting things, and managing all that money. It's scary." "Oh, Mom," he sounded relieved. "I'm so glad you're seeing this clearly." Seeing this clearly, like I was the one who'd been wrong. "I want to set up a meeting with your lawyer and mine to do this properly. You don't need your own lawyer, Mom. Our lawyer can handle everything." "No." I made my voice firm. "If I'm going to do this, I want my own representation, just to make sure I understand everything. You can understand that, can't you?" A pause. I heard muffled voices, Anna coaching him in the background. "Of course," Jeffrey said finally. "That's very reasonable. When?" "This Friday, 2 o'clock, at my lawyer's office. We'll be there." After I hung up, I sat in silence. My son had sounded so happy, so relieved that he was going to get my money. When did I raise someone who could do this to me? Friday arrived. I barely slept the night before. Robert had briefed me 3 times. Stay calm, let them talk, let them reveal themselves. We'll handle the rest. His conference room was professional and intimidating.
A large table, leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Jeffrey and Anna arrived at exactly 2 o'clock. Anna was dressed like she was going to a business meeting, power suit, heels, perfectly styled hair. Jeffrey wore slacks and a button-down shirt, looking uncomfortable. With them was their lawyer, a slick-looking man in his 30s named Brad something. "Mary," Anna said warmly, coming over to kiss my cheek. "I'm so proud of you for taking this step. It's the right thing." I smiled weakly, playing my part. We all sat down, Robert at the head of the table, me beside him, Anna, Jeffrey, and Brad on the other side. Brad opened his briefcase and pulled out a stack of documents. "I've drawn up the trust papers. It's very straightforward. Mrs. Patterson will transfer the assets into the trust with Jeffrey and Anna as the trustees and primary beneficiaries. Mrs. Patterson will receive a monthly allowance for her expenses." "An allowance?" I interrupted, right on cue. "It's standard," Brad said smoothly. "You'll have everything you need, but the bulk of the assets will be protected and managed by people who understand finances." "How much is the allowance?" Robert asked. $2,000 a month. $2,000 out of $500,000, plus whatever interest it would generate. "That seems quite low," Robert observed. Anna leaned forward. "Mary, you don't need much. Your house is paid off. You don't travel. We're actually being very generous. This way you won't have to worry about bills or decisions. We'll handle everything." "And what happens to the principal?" Robert asked. "It remains in the trust for the family, for future grandchildren, for Jeffrey's security." Brad said this like it was obvious, like it was perfectly reasonable to take a widow's life insurance payout and give her an allowance from her own money. "I see," Robert said. "And Mrs. Patterson, you're comfortable with this arrangement?" This was my moment. I looked at Jeffrey, really looked at him. "Honey," I said softly, "look at me." He did, reluctantly. "Is this really what you want? To take your father's money? Money he left to take care of me?" His face flushed. "Mom, we're not taking it. We're managing it. For you. By giving me $2,000 a month and controlling the rest? It's for your own good." "Jeffrey." I let my voice break. "Your father would be so disappointed." He flinched, like I'd slapped him. Anna's hand shot out and grabbed his. "Don't let her manipulate you with guilt. This is exactly why we're here. She's not thinking clearly." "Actually," Robert said, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife, "Mrs. Patterson is thinking very clearly, which is why we're not signing anything today." Brad frowned. "I'm sorry, what?" "This meeting wasn't to sign documents. It was to give you an opportunity to withdraw your fraudulent claims and attempted theft." The room went silent. Anna's face went white, then red. "Excuse me?" Robert opened his own folder. "Over the past 3 months, there have been 14 attempts to access Mrs. Patterson's bank account without authorization. Failed login attempts, requests for duplicate cards, attempts to add secondary account holders, all originating from your home IP address." Brad started to stand. "We're leaving." "Sit down," Robert said calmly, "because if you leave now, my next call is to the police and the state attorney's office." Everyone sat. Robert continued. "Additionally, you've attempted to claim Mrs. Patterson is mentally incompetent, a claim that would allow you to take control of her assets. However, I have here documentation from her physician, Dr. Sarah Morrison, conducted just last week, certifying that Mrs. Patterson is of completely sound mind and fully capable of managing her own affairs." He slid the paper across the table. Anna didn't even look at it. You've engaged in undue influence, a form of elder abuse. You've attempted fraud, and you've committed what's called financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. We were trying to help, Jeffrey started. Were you? Robert's voice was sharp. When you attempted to access her account without permission, when you tried to get her declared incompetent, when you drafted a trust document that would give her $24,000 a year out of her own $500,000 while you controlled the rest? This is ridiculous, Anna said, but her voice shook. We're family. We were looking out for her. No, I said, finding my voice. You were stealing from me. Mom, don't. I held up my hand. Jeffrey, you let this woman convince you to betray your own mother. Your father has been dead for 6 months. 6 months! And instead of helping me through my grief, you've been trying to take everything he left me. Tears streamed down my face, but I didn't wipe them away. That money was for my future, for my security, for my old age. Your father worked his entire life to make sure I'd be taken care of, and you were going to take it? We weren't. Yes, you were. An allowance, Jeffrey? You were going to give me an allowance from my own money while you and Anna spent the rest on what? A bigger house? Fancy vacations? Early retirement? Jeffrey's face crumpled. For the first time, he looked like my son again, ashamed, broken. But Anna was not broken. She was calculating. You can't prove any of this would hold up in court. Robert smiled. Actually, we can. And we will if necessary, but I don't think you want that, do you, Anna? Public record of attempted elder fraud? That wouldn't be good for your career in marketing, would it? Or your reputation. Her jaw clenched. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign a document acknowledging that Mrs. Patterson is of sound mind and sole owner of all assets left to her by her husband. You're going to agree to never contest her financial decisions or attempt to access her accounts again. And you're going to stay away from her unless she initiates contact. And if we don't? Anna asked coldly. Then I file criminal charges on Monday morning. And I guarantee you, the local news would love this story. Daughter-in-law attempts to steal dying husband's insurance from grieving widow. I can see the headlines now. Brad, their lawyer, spoke for the first time in minutes. I think we should sign. Brad? Anna started. We should sign, he repeated firmly. He'd realized they had no leverage, no defense, nothing. Robert slid a new document across the table. Anna stared at it like it was a snake, but slowly, trembling with rage, she picked up the pen and signed. Jeffrey hesitated. Mom, I'm so sorry. Sign it. He signed.
They left without another word. Anna stormed out first, Brad trailing behind her. Jeffrey lingered at the door, looking back at me like he wanted to say something. But there was nothing to say. When they were gone, I collapsed into the chair, shaking. You did it, Robert said gently. It's over. Is it? I asked. I just destroyed my relationship with my only child. No, he destroyed it when he chose to steal from you. You just refused to be a victim. I went home that night and sat in the dark living room. The house felt empty without John. It had felt empty since he died. But now it felt like something else, too. Free. Jeffrey tried to call 3 times in the week following the meeting. I didn't answer. He sent texts. Mom, please, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Anna was wrong. Please talk to me. I miss you. I miss Dad. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't respond. Anna sent nothing. No apology, no acknowledgement, nothing. Good. I never wanted to hear from her again. 2 weeks after the meeting, there was a knock on my door. It was Jeffrey, alone. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. Mom, please, just 5 minutes.
I should have closed the door, sent him away, but he was still my son, my baby, the boy I'd raised, loved, sacrificed for. I let him in. We sat in the living room, the same room where he'd played with Legos as a child, where we'd celebrated Christmases, where we'd cried together after his father's funeral.
"I don't know what to say," he started. "I'm sorry doesn't even begin to cover it." "No, it doesn't. Anna, she convinced me that we were doing the right thing, that you weren't capable, that we were protecting you." "Did you believe that, Jeffrey? Really?" He was quiet for a long time. "I wanted to believe it, because the alternative was admitting that I was stealing from my own mother, and I couldn't face that. But you were. I know." Tears ran down his face. "I know, and I hate myself for it. Dad would hate me too." "Your father loved you," I said softly. "He would have been disappointed, devastated, but he would have loved you. Do you still love me?" His voice was barely a whisper. I looked at my son, at the man he'd become. Weak, easily manipulated, capable of betrayal, but still my son. "Yes," I said, "I still love you, but I don't trust you, and I don't know if I ever will again." "I understand. And Anna?" His face hardened. "We're getting divorced." I wasn't surprised. When I saw what we'd done, what she'd convinced me to do, I couldn't look at her the same way. I told her I wanted out. She didn't even fight it, just started calculating what she'd get in the divorce. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You were right about her. You were always right." We sat in silence for a while. "Can we try again?" Jeffrey asked. "Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. Can I earn back your trust?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "Time will tell." He nodded and stood to leave. At the door, he turned back. "Mom, I'm proud of you for standing up to us, for not letting us bully you. Dad would be proud too." After he left, I cried. For the relationship we'd lost, for the son I thought I knew, for the trust that was broken. But I also felt something else. Strength. It's been 6 months since that meeting in Robert's office. Jeffrey and Anna are divorced. He moved into an apartment across town. He calls me once a week now. Short conversations. Careful. Like we're rebuilding something that shattered. Maybe we are. I'm still in my house. John's life insurance money is safely in an irrevocable trust, with me as the sole trustee and beneficiary. When I die, whatever's left will go to Jeffrey, but until then, it's mine. My security. My future. I've started traveling, something John and I always planned to do but never got around to. Last month, I went to Italy with a group tour. Next spring, I'm going to Ireland. I've also started volunteering at a senior center, teaching others about financial literacy and elder abuse, helping people recognize the warning signs I almost missed. Because that's the thing about this kind of betrayal. It's insidious. It starts small. A helpful suggestion here, a concerned comment there, and before you know it, someone else is controlling your life, your money, your future. Anna taught me that. But I also learned something else. I'm stronger than I thought, braver than I believed, and I won't let anyone, family or not, take advantage of me again. People ask me if I regret setting the trap, if I wish I'd handled it differently. The truth? No. If I hadn't stood up for myself, Anna would have taken everything. Jeffrey would have let her, and I would have spent the rest of my life dependent on people who saw me as an inconvenience at best, a piggy bank at worst. That meeting wasn't just about money. It was about dignity, respect, autonomy. It was about refusing to be a victim. When John died, I thought I'd lost everything.
my partner, my future, my purpose. But I was wrong. I found something I didn't even know I'd lost, myself. The strong woman I used to be before I became someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's target. And I'm never letting her go again. Anna, if you're somehow reading or hearing this, I want you to know something. I don't hate you. Hate requires energy I don't want to spend on you. But I do want you to understand what you did. You didn't just try to steal money. You tried to steal my agency, my independence, my dignity. You saw a grieving widow and thought she'd be easy prey. You were wrong. And I truly hope, that you never do this to anyone else. That you learn that people aren't resources to be exploited. That vulnerability isn't weakness to be taken advantage of. But honestly, I don't think you will learn. People like you rarely do. You'll find another target, another vulnerable person to manipulate. But it won't be me. And if you're very unlucky, your next target will have a lawyer like Robert, and a spine like I found.
Jeff, I know you might hear this someday. I want you to know that I meant what I said. I still love you. But love doesn't mean accepting betrayal. Love doesn't mean letting you hurt me to make your life easier. You made a choice. You chose Anna's manipulation over your mother. You chose potential wealth over integrity. Those choices have consequences. Maybe one day we'll be close again. Maybe we'll have Sunday dinners and holidays and phone calls that last more than 5 minutes. Or maybe we won't. Either way, I'll be okay. Because I've learned something these past months. I don't need you to be complete. I don't need anyone to validate my worth. I am enough, all on my own. I hope you find that truth for yourself someday. If you're reading this story and you see yourself in it, if you've been manipulated, taken advantage of, or made to feel incompetent by people who are supposed to love you, please hear this. You are not crazy. You are not confused. You are not too old, too emotional, or too anything. You are being abused, and you deserve better. Elder financial abuse is real. It happens every single day. And often, it comes from the people we trust most, our children, our in-laws, our caregivers. They make us doubt ourselves. They make us feel guilty for wanting autonomy. They convince us we're doing something wrong by protecting what's ours. They're the ones who are wrong. Your money is yours. Your assets are yours. Your decisions are yours. And if anyone tries to take that from you, fight back. Get a lawyer, document everything. Set the trap if you need to. Because you are not just a wallet with legs. You're not just a convenient resource. You're a human being with rights, with agency, with value. Don't let anyone make you forget that. So, here's what I want you to do after hearing my story. First, check your accounts. Make sure you know who has access. Make sure your passwords are secure. Make sure no one can touch your money without your explicit permission. Second, if you have even the slightest suspicion that someone is trying to manipulate or control you financially, talk to a lawyer. Today, not tomorrow, today. Most elder law attorneys will give you a free consultation. Use it. Third, and this is the most important one, trust yourself. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You're not paranoid. You're not overreacting. You're protecting yourself. And that is not only okay, it's
necessary. I set a trap for my daughter-in-law because she thought I was weak. She thought I was vulnerable. She thought I'd be easy to control. She was wrong. And anyone who tries to take advantage of you will be wrong too, if you stand up for yourself. You are stronger than they think, braver than they know, and you deserve to live the rest of your life with dignity, security, and freedom. Don't let anyone take that from you, ever. And if they try, set the trap, spring it, and walk away with your head held high. You've got this. I believe in you. Because if a 65-year-old grieving widow like me can do it, so can you. They thought my grief made me weak. They were wrong. It made me fierce, and I will never apologize for protecting what's mine.